Hi everyone. Welcome to a special, super special, amazing, wonderful edition of the Thursday Fun with Frelorn. Today we are going to do something a little bit different, and we have brought in our very special guest Jinjaah, who is going to talk to us all about the new legendary item system, legendary imbuement, and just explain a little bit of what's going on and answer some questions. And we'll do our best to answer the questions and make everybody happy. So without further ado, Jinjaah, please say hello.
Hello. I apologize for my wind tunnel in the background, but yeah, I'm here. Ready to rock.
Yes, if I'm gonna move here a little bit, and he's back there on his computer. He's
If
waving.
I
See,
if I
you can.
flail, can they see me?
I
I'm
think
just
we
gonna
can see
flail.
you flailing. Yes. So
All right, good.
our current streaming, our new streaming room is in the process of being built. So we're doing this a little bit different. Of course, you see Quartermaster U sitting behind me, making faces, um, and we'll drag him in if we need to. Uh, but you know, let's get going with this. So yeah, we wanted to give you guys a chance to ask us questions and uh, see, get them out there. Uh, get
Should be an emote.
Yes, absolutely. So we will put the call out for questions for you guys. Right, start putting your questions in the chat, and in the meantime, Trevor, Jinjaah, why don't you talk to us a little bit about the thought process that went into the new system?
Yeah. So this conversation has been going on for a long time now. But one of the things that we really wanted to change with the LI system was that we didn't like the idea of reforging and deconstructing. We didn't feel like that felt very legendary. We kind of wanted to refresh the system as it currently existed and kind of deliver on that original promise, which is, you choose your one legendary friend, and this is your friend till the end. And we didn't like the idea of you having to basically pick up a friend and then recycle him when a level cap came around, or a better friend came along. We want your friend to continually get better with you. So that's kind of was the initial drive behind it.
All right. So we do have some questions that have come out, and yes, while this is mainly focused on legendary items, you guys can ask questions related to systems. So we'll do our best to answer what we can. Um, so we'll get right into it. In update 16, are we going to see the new PvP area? I can answer that one, and the answer is no. That will be coming in an update beyond update 16. If we were going to introduce that, you guys would have heard a lot more about it already. So let's see. Are there plans? Or actually, let's go with this one first. When will the full list of legacy changes be posted for all classes, or when will they
Yeah.
be available?
So I think what I might do is for the next build, we'll go ahead and throw them all up. I know there was some confusion that I just wanted to clear up and that just made me think of it. We some of our notes were a little out of date, and there was one specific section that said, legacies that can't extend. Here are the reasons why they can't extend, and that was a really earlier in our development kind of rule that we set. And after discussions with the council and discussions internally, we kind of really laxed up on those rules, and so some of the legacies that might appeared were missing are not missing. So I think it's best if we just post the full list of this is what everything is, and let you guys kind of chew at them. So I can either post it in a form of only post the ones you change, or give you the full gambit. I assume that only the ones that changed are the ones you're interested in, so we can do that.
All right. Perfect. And by the way, you guys can blame me if you want for the note things. I had like 12 different versions of the notes on my computer, and unbeknownst to me, I had posted one that was slightly out of date. So you can yell at me for that one. Um, I will take that one.
You can also yell at me for those notes getting to you being out of date. I mean, like, chicken
Yeah,
or the egg, really.
blame me. It's easier. Just blame me. That's
Blame
fine.
Why don't we just blame us,
Okay,
collective us?
that works.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's move on to the next one. Are there? So this kind of ties in. We had this discussion a little bit yesterday. Are there plans to open the system up to all levels of legendary items? So this kind of came up yesterday with why we were doing it only at level 100. So maybe you can explain a little bit of why we decided to launch it with only going at level 100.
Yeah, so the original intention when we started out was that we wanted this to kind of cascade throughout all levels, and it quickly became, with the size of our team and our timeline and priorities, it just became too much of a scope to handle. And so we decided to say at level 100, this is when we're going to, this is when Imbuement's going to take over, and there's nothing stopping us from the future if this goes well and we like the system and we keep making changes to it, that we slowly try to push it down further and further so that everyone can enjoy it, because we do really like the system.
All right, excellent. Hold on, I hit a wrong button here. All right, so let's see.
So many questions.
So many questions, and they're scrolling by me quickly, and of course Twitch doesn't like to let me hold where I am. So let's see. I definitely want to know if there's a chance. So we answered that one. Any plans on lowering the empowerment's cost? And then it went away. Since it's going to level with us from now on, it should be relatively hard to get. So I guess that's more of a let's jump right into the elephant in the room, so to speak, and address some of the costs that players are seeing right now.
Mm-hmm.
We are, and you can speak to this more, of course. This is beta. So
Yep.
the costs that everybody is seeing, and we've stated this on the forums a couple times, but you know, things can get missed. People get into the heat of the moment, etc. Nothing you see in the beta, you guys are seeing in the beta, is final right now. We are, you know, everything is open for adjustment based on feedback. So if you guys are seeing, you know, this costs too much, or this is too many marks, or this is that, or whatever, we are actively taking the feedback in. We're going to make adjustments based on that feedback. This update is not going. Update 16 is not going live till for a while. We've got several weeks ahead of us to test. We made sure, with a system as big as this one is and as invasive as this one is, invasive is the wrong word, complex. We wanted to get it out in front of you guys as early and as quickly as possible. And so what you guys are seeing is not necessarily the set in stone, here's prices, costs, etc., etc. This is more of, we wanted to get it out there, and you could give us feedback on the system itself and how it works. And then as we progress into different phases of beta, you will start seeing the costs of items and things like that line up more with what we're aiming for.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing to keep in mind too is, even aside from the cost, you know, like the total number of tiers that we're going to launch with 16 are still in question. The total number of unlocks is still in question. There's some bugs currently with how many unlocks you get based on when you go to imbue. So there's still a lot of things that are up in the air. And there's also, you know, there's certain epic quests and that kind of stuff, like where we're actually giving away some of these items, and that wasn't in your build yet. So, you know, there's definitely, things are still in flux, and so I wouldn't worry too much. I would, you know, keep giving your feedback, but don't get too hung up on that, you know. So
absolutely. So again, we'll reiterate, this is beta. Nothing is set in stone yet. We're going to make adjustments to pretty much everything based on feedback. Matter of fact, we tentatively have another build of Bull Roar that will be going out tomorrow, or today. Is it today? I think it's today. Maybe it's today or tomorrow. One of the 2 days.
I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's tomorrow too. And in that, you'll see a small amount of the adjustments that we're going to be making. It's depends on how much stuff that these guys can get done today. But it's, you know, it's not something like we can just flip a switch and make all these changes. The team does have to go in and make sure that everything is working the way it's intended to, and it is beta. So I'll keep saying that over and over and over again.
Get it tattooed on our foreheads.
Yeah,
so when we're on the stream, you can see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things I should just put up on the image I have up here on the stream of, this is beta. But yes, so please keep that in mind. So let's go on to some more questions.
So many
I
questions.
know, I get and it keeps like scrolling back and forth on me. I definitely want any. We did that one. How will this work with a? How will this system work when and if we ever increase the level cap? Will we get more unlockable legacy tiers if that does in fact happen?
Yes. So that's part of the reason for the imbuement change is that the if the level cap were to ever go up, there's no more we set out a new set of third age, second age, and first ages, and then you have to grind those up and deconstruct those. It's you carry this weapon forward with you. It will continue on the story with you. So that's part of the reason for this change. It removes that sort of reset and recycle your friend that we were talking about earlier. Um, and like it is also I know like at first when the system's being introduced, you see all these ranks and it seems like you have a huge grind ahead of you, but it's important to know that we are when we go to increase unlocks and the max number of tiers, we're talking about in increments of 5 to 10, and so it's going to be sprinkled throughout update to update to kind of let you gradually grow this weapon up with you as you continue on your way to Mordor.
Nice. I like it. I'm excited. Anyway, Jinja, I'm curious, especially about the Guardian AoE targets. I told you this one was coming too.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
is there any way that the number of targets can go from 5 to 7 instead? From what I'm hearing, and in my experience, 5 targets will make tanking more difficult for sure. So why don't we get into that change in particular on the AoE targets and the thought
Yeah,
process behind that?
absolutely. So when we, though that number was an initial number that we felt when we had our internal meeting, that 5 felt like a good number, and the feedback so far has been five's not enough, and we'd like some more, and so we totally plan on increasing those. It's same thing with the hunter's max targets. We kind of pegged a value first, but we're going to be adding more targets on based on feedback. So, and that's also like a good time to just mention that like for the people that have been putting in really awesome feedback, you people are great. Keep it up. And if people have more feedback, the more direct you are. Like this legacy or this skill change, I don't like it. Here's why. There was a guardian that gave me a complete breakdown of why they felt that 7 was better than 5, and that's perfect. So keep doing that.
Sweet. Okay, so I was told I was breathing too heavy into the microphone. Sorry. Um, I'm excited, guys. I can't help it. Okay, so there is clearly looking at some of these questions as I'm reading ahead as you're answering. There is definitely still some confusion about the system, which is why we're doing this.
Yep.
Are the current legacies on non-imbued legendaries going to be the same as the imbued legacies if you choose not to imbue them?
Say that again.
Are the current legacies on non-imbued legendaries, so their current legendary items,
Yep.
going to be the same as imbued legacies? So I guess if I'm reading this right, they're asking if the legacies on their old ones are going to change or not.
So some already have, and some haven't. Whether or not they change going forward is one thing. You'll notice that there's some situations where a legacy had completely changed from where it was before. I think a good example of this, hold on, let me just pull up my notes, is, sorry. Oh, so the Hunter. So the Hunter used to have a legacy called Merciful Shot Cooldown, or they still have that legacy, but when you imbue, it turns into explosive arrow damage, but the cooldown that you got from that Merciful Shot cooldown before was actually added to the Merciful Shot critical multiplier legacy upon imbuement. So some of the old legacies will stay around and they might change in the new one, but their bonus is being incorporated into another legacy. Um, and ones that aren't, for the most part, have been tried to be kind of weaved into skills in different ways. If we were a little bit if we were a little bit cautious about some of the cooldowns we were giving out, in some cases we extended durations, and vice versa. So we're definitely trying to find a home for all these bonuses that are being lost.
All right, that works for me. Let's see. So we've got more questions, of course. why not have, this is more of a design choice, I believe, but why not have a total IXP bar and sliders to choose which legacies to min-max depending on the situation? And I think that was more of just a style choice and what you guys went through when you were designing the system.
Yeah, we wanted to kind of simplify it. We had a design that kind of had something similar to that, and it just added a layer of confusion where it was just, you choose what you want to put on your weapon, and then it'll distribute the IXP throughout the weapon and slowly grow it over time. That was really the decision behind that change.
All right, cool enough. Let's see. I've seen this come up a couple times, so I'll ask: are there now or in the future, are we thinking of cosmetic options for our new legendary items that will be super awesome and follow us around?
I mean, yeah, it's something that we've always talked about. I can't promise when that would happen, but it would be one of our things that we'd like to do. We need to look at the technical limitations still. It's been something that I think has been brought up ever since I've been here over and over again, and so it is something that we're trying to accomplish, but not for 16.
All right, perfect. Why are most legacies used for damage rolls? For example, Lore Master is losing Fire Lore debuff for extra lightning damage. How will this benefit the Ancient Craft Lore Masters? Look, I got all sorts of details in you on that one.
I know. Some of them, it kind of comes down to certain legacies during certain times in our discussions. Some of them felt like if they were certain effects that we didn't feel comfortable with scaling over time, we tried to find a new home for them. But the Fire Lord debuff is certainly one that I'm looking at my notes of all the legacies. This is one that we said that we'll keep an eye on, and that if a lore master out there is feeling like they really want it, they're more than welcome to throw some feedback in, and I can work with them to try to figure out where we can find a home for it. So
beautiful. So we're scrolling through the list. For those of you who joined us late, we're talking with systems designer Trevor Jinjaah, and he is kind of answering questions. We're kind of addressing, we saw there were a lot of questions when we released the legendary item imbuement system into the very first phase of beta. See how I threw that in there, first phase. And so we're trying to answer some questions, kind of let people know the thought process, what we're thinking, et cetera, and so forth. So we are going through. Feel free to ask your questions. We'll try to get to them. But for those of you watching the chat, you can see there is a ton of questions. So if I skip yours, it's probably not on purpose. It's affected. It keeps scrolling by me. And I'm doing the best I can here, guys. So, yeah. Let's see. Are there any plans to redo how the buffs and debuffs are handled since they cause so much lag during PvMP and raids, etc.? So this is actually not related to, but it's something we have discussed in the past.
Yeah. I think what they're referring to is the sheer volume of effects that get placed that appear on the UI of a target. I'm assuming is causing lag for them. There's been multiple issues in the past, and there's definitely something we've been looking at how to alleviate. And I don't really have a concrete answer on how we're going to do that, but that's certainly something that we know causes issues and would like to try to work on. So,
all right. I need my browser just crashed.
Oh no.
So I have to and that. Let me stop that. Let's go. Reload. So give me a minute here, guys. Sorry. Not working as intended.
I can sing to you all while we wait. You don't want that, though.
Yeah, no, please don't. So that, of course, means that I just lost all those questions.
Oh,
which
no.
is awesome. Let me see. There it is. Okay. What? It didn't load. Hold on. I apologize, guys. This is me. This is, this is Firefox. Okay. Sorry.
You good? You good?
I'm kind of good. I can bring some in. Let's see. There we go. We're back in. So we answered this before, but why don't we answer it again? Because it looks like we got some late folks coming in. Why did we decide on level 100 for the requirements of the legendary items as opposed to 50 when people start picking up their items?
Yeah, I'll just briefly summarize it again. Basically, we started out with the original intention of doing it for all levels and quickly realized that the scope of work was just a little bit more than our team and our timeline could handle. And so it's something that, we're still open to doing in the future, but for now we just wanted to get it right at level 100. So.
All right. We did have one come up that was pointed out to me
Okay.
that I want to address, and I did manage to save it. So thank you, Quartermaster. You. And it was asked of us, for the players that are skeptical of the feedback actually having an impact, what can we say as a team, or say or do to alleviate the skepticism? To that, I would say. You know what? We understand that there's skepticism. Um, I've been here. I've been at Turbine since long before LOTRO existed. I've known everything that's gone on. I've known the history. Um, this is just use the example of how early we've launched Bull Roarer in first beta. So doing it that way, for example, where we're still weeks away from it going live, this is just a part of it is giving us the bigger window for us actually to incorporate that feedback. And you guys will see that feedback being incorporated in future builds. I mean, there's not a ton I can say. This is one of those things that actions speak louder than words. So all I will say is this is not the same team that was even here last year. This is not, this is a new team. We have a new producer. You have new me. You have also, this is not the same group of people. So all I could say is let our actions speak for us. If you don't want to give us the benefit of the doubt, that's fine, but please don't personally attack other users who are giving us the benefit of the doubt or attacking us when we say, this is coming. Watch, wait, and see. If we don't do that, I'll be the first one to say, yeah, go ahead and call us on it. But I think you all are going to be pleasantly surprised as this feedback is incorporated into the various phases of beta.
Yeah, and I'll just say that from my side, the last 2 days have been literally just reading every single post on the Bull Roar feedback, and I have this, for people that know Microsoft products, I have this big OneNote that has every different class is a different tab, and I've just been compiling everyone's feedback from legacy to legacy on how they feel. And some of those changes will be coming soon. I don't think they'll be in the next build because it's a rather large group of changes, but they are coming. And perhaps if they don't come in the builds, I can post some notes pre the next build just to give you guys a heads up of where our head's at. So.
All right. So let's see. This is another one I'm going to address because I've seen it thrown across. When a question like, will there be cosmetic system for weapons implemented soon? The answer is I've been hearing that question forever, but not yet. It makes people wonder if the actions speak louder than words thing. So I'm going to address that right out. We have to pick and choose what we do when we do it. If we decide we want to work on cosmetic weapons, that could take art and systems time away from doing something else, such as new legendary items or PvP revamp or loot systems or et cetera and so forth. So while everybody wants cosmetic things and everybody wants to look prettier and all that stuff, we do have to balance what we do when we do it as a team, the value of it, et cetera and so forth. So because, we understand that everybody is an individual, and everybody has their own things that they prioritize higher. And unfortunately, we can't always do that and hit everybody's individual, this is what I want, and this is going to make it better. We do the best we can as a team to prioritize it. And again, I can't speak for myself, nor Jinjaah or anybody else here can speak for what happened with other teams. So if this request was made 2 years ago to another team, we can't really take that into account. Is when we came in as our version of this team, we started prioritizing. We started, figuring out what we wanted to do, making sure the resources were there. So it's kind of like a restart for us in that sense. So
right.
these are all things we want to do. It's just we have to figure out what's right, when, and how.
It's
So
also just to give people a little bit of like the inside look at that kind of change, right? It's something that I think internally we've definitely always wanted to do, but it's not necessarily an easy task. Like I know that you look at some games and it happens relatively painlessly, but there's a lot of work that goes into under the hood, how our system's built, how our combat system works, how the appearance of the weapon actually changes animations on players. There's a lot of cascading work that comes into a change like that, and it's something we really want to do, but we have to find the best approach before we can do it. So, and that's kind of where we are at right now. So
absolutely. So this next question comes into a conversation we had this morning.
ooh,
So you could break a little news here, I guess, if you'd like. LOTRO stream. Will legendary item upgrades, starlets, remembrance crystals, be integrated into the loot better than what they are on live? Currently, grinding instances with low drop rates, the auction house and the turbine store are our only methods. The reward effort balance is very lacking in terms of legendary upgrade loot. So if you wanna drop them a little knowledge of our conversation earlier today, please feel free.
there we will be in the next build dropping, coming up with more places to drop these things. In the epic, there'll be some of them dropping. They will be dropping in the instance. The drop rates are still up in the air, but we're going to be putting more of them into circulation because we completely understand that feedback. That has been a big talking point internally over the last 5 hours.
Yes. So the short answer is yes. You will have more ways and more opportunities to get these items. So that is a thing.
Oh, look at Made of Lions.
Yeah, yeah, I did it. Yeah, look at me. Let's see. So let me scroll down here. How big will the difference be if you look at first, second, and third age legendary items? Like, what's the difference going to be when you're doing them, if any, as far as using the new imbuement system?
Third ages will take, in the end, it is very possible to get a third or second age to the equivalent of a first age. It's just going to take more effort. Upon imbuement, where you end up in terms of your DPS legacies or your tactical damage legacies is different, and so it'll take more effort to get those in line. But so it'll be easier for a first ager, but it can, with time and effort, if you really want to get your third ager up there, you certainly can. We're not going to stop you from doing that.
Cool. Let's see. What in-game tip or info will be included into the live build to introduce players to the imbuement system without needing to go off-site to read player guides? So there will be tooltips that come along with all these, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's part of what we're working on over this last week. I think you'll see some of them in the next build, but we're definitely trying to make it as easy and as painless to understand, and without having to have a second monitor up at all times. So.
And we will also, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, we have Mr. Jinjaah writing a nice detailed dev diary to go along with this system that we're going to drag his time away and make him write for us.
Yeah, turn it into an Audible book so you guys can just hear me all the time, just talking to you.
Yes.
Serenading you,
So let's see. Will anything besides the legendary item age affect the maxed out imbued in the end? So is there anything else that goes into it that will change the end result aside from whether it's a first, second, or third age? So like the example they use is if I put 3 starlit crystals in a first age, will it be better in the end than one without any starlit crystals? So a first age with 3 starlets versus one with none.
Upon imbuing, it'll be further along, but in the end, they'll all be equal. So if you don't do it before and you do it after, that's perfectly fine.
All right. Will the head stats on legendary items be scaled beyond level 100 if we go to 105? I think you answered this already, but yes. They will scale with us if we ever increase the level cap. Let's see. I'm making a little bit of progress here. When it comes to running, please. Here's a conversation we've had. I love these ones. Itemization is a big thing when it comes to whether or not it's worth running instances or running them at T to C. Can you please fix itemization for instances?
Yes.
So if you can address this because I know this is something you've been poking at already.
So yeah, I mean that's something we're looking at. You'll notice that a lot of our scaling instances use very similar treasure lists or the ways that they look. Yeah, you gotta fix the loot tables. But yeah, there's definitely things that we're looking at doing. Especially with this instance cluster, we've kind of re-engaged this conversation. Whether it's increasing some of the drop rates or what, that's something we're looking into. But those kind of changes are going to happen low and slow. I think I mentioned yesterday that it's like the crock pot instead of the oven. Like we're going to kind of just like, we're going to slowly change some of that stuff under the hood until we get it to a spot so that we don't accidentally push something live that might, drastically reduce it or drastically increase it. We kind of want to like slowly inch towards a perfect sweet spot for us and the players.
Sweet. Let's see. Somebody's reposting something that's not read, so give me a second here. Although the question still remains about Force Challenge duration. Currently, it's only 5 seconds with +5 for Epic Battle Gear, which will likely be replaced soon. And as such, we're going to struggle to hold AoE aggro over powerful yellow champs.
Yep.
So, is there any? Is this another thing where we're taking feedback and could possibly make adjustments, or are we kind of more set with this right now?
Yeah, in fact, one thing we're looking at is just increasing the overall duration of all force taunts, and moving that bonus into the passive base of every class's force taunt. That feedback was something that was brought up during this week that we talked about, and so we don't have a final answer on that yet. But yeah, that is on the forefront of something we're going to act on in the near future. That's part of my large lists of changes that might not make it into this next build, but will be there next week.
All right, perfect. Fluffy Donkeys 2 is asking. I just wanted to say Fluffy Donkeys. I'm sorry.
Where's the first one?
I don't know. I don't know where it. Maybe that's a parent. I don't know. Can we big fluffy donkey, little anyway. Scaled Freeps won't have access to imbued LIs. We already have no access to gold, epic battle jewels, essence gear, and a lot of trait points and virtues. Would you consider giving an additional fair damage and heal scaling so that we can become relevant?
Yeah, I think that's something that we still need to work on and continue to improve upon. The summary of how that works is that we can play around with what item level you are going to scale to and how your implement's going to scale, and we can make adjustments there. But that's definitely something that that I agree we need to look at in the near future, especially with PvP on the horizon.
Yes. Hey, Frelorn and Jinjaah from Beardoin. A question about Minas Morgul in the new areas, and this isn't actually anything, but I will answer it anyway. I know it's beta and it's cool. I noticed the green lights from the windows went dark at night. This is going to change to green glow at night, and so there's probably somebody in this stream from the dev team that is seeing that. So Beardoin, consider that reported to somebody here in the stream to look into and see if they're going to do that. I can't say for sure whether or not that's going to be something they do, but I'm sure there's somebody in here now as I'm looking at all the Turbine employees and LOTRO team members in this stream that has seen that and will go, oh yes, I'm going to do that, or no, I'm not going to. So thank you for pointing that out. We'll jump on that one and see. Does, if we ever increase the level cap, mean there's a possibility that level caps will not be increasing? There's a possibility that I could sprout wings and fly out of here. Anything's possible. So it's just we're not committing to anything right now. It's all going to be based on the direction we decide to go moving forward, and if we feel like there's gain for implementing a level cap increase, or if the time is better spent on just making new and exciting content for those who are already at the level cap. Is it possible to will it be possible to imbue more than one legendary when U16 goes live? And I think that's you can imbue as many legendaries as you have.
Yep.
So that part of the system is finalized. Yes. So you'll be able to use imbuement on however many of the legendary items you have in your possession. Zamidi has said pulled pork is yummy. Thank you.
Knowledge.
Yes, this is true. How will the passive stats, such as Arcade Stones, be affected from the third age from first ages? So the difference between third and first. You said you will be able to make third ages as powerful as first ages, but how will this affect these passive stats?
Yeah, so I assume that that you're talking about the passive stats that are
inherent
weapon with it. Yep.
Yeah.
That's something that we're talking about right now. There seems to be a sort of bug around how it works, and we're not fully sure on how that works. So I'm just going to refrain from giving you a solid answer right yet, but it is something that we're looking at.
Nice. Okay. Let's see. In either imbued, this is more of a class-specific question from Beanie Mooch. In either imbued legacies or other combinations or gear moving forward, is there hope a yellow line minstrel can get an in-combat res?
Yeah, I mean it's something it's something that I think we've talked about even in the council discussions and stuff. Those sort of bonuses would be really cool. It's something that we're going to consider for the future, but for update 16, there's not really going to be any of that. So.
Okay. Apparently, this is a thing. I hadn't seen a lot of feedback on this, but I do not doubt the players. So, Halo Free Dark asks, will we be able to imbue bridles as well?
At 16, no.
Fair enough. There's your answer. End the debate. Is there a point to setting loot quality in a level 20 instance to epic?
I'd have to dig through all the data to see exactly, give you an absolute yes or no. So I think the debate could still be go on among you and your friends.
The debate lives on.
The debate continues.
Hey, we've got to give you guys something to continue to talk about.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any word, this is another not related to legendary item question. Any word on adding more Bjorning crafted gear? From about level 50 to 75, there is no might-based gilded crafted armor.
Yeah, it's one of those really embarrassing things. We're hoping to get this resolved relatively soon. We were actually planning to have it resolved for 16, and it didn't look like it's going to happen, so I would expect it in the near future. But yes, that is something that we the essence gear, the crafted gear, there's a lot of quests. There's still a lot of stuff for the Bjorning that needs to be hooked up, and we want to get that resolved as soon as possible.
Yay! All right, Non-Stop Nation, when is the next update? When we announce it. Sorry, not trying to be sarcastic there. We just have not announced the date yet. When we're ready to announce it, we'll tell you, but I can tell you it's still a couple weeks away at least. Are there any plans to... see, another thing we talked about. Are there any plans to redo how traits are for the monster play characters, such as trait trees?
A complete redo? No. But one of the things we are looking at in the future with all what we've talked about coming later this year is to do an audit on a lot of those traits that have really lagged behind and have reduced the options of monster players choosing, from their pool of class traits. And so we definitely would really like to do kind of a trait refreshening, if that makes sense to you guys. And so no for a full revamp, yes for some love, lots of love.
Yes. Let's see. When is Beta 2 build coming to Bull Roarer? Probably, I think tomorrow is Beta 2 build. So stay tuned for that one. This is a technical question, so this is all you. Would it be possible for you to retroactively boost legacy tiers if you were to open the system up to all level legendary items and making it into something like a one tier per level? If it isn't retroactive, I think as much thought should go into planning for it to happen. Whether it does or doesn't, that's the best. So basically, would you be able to do retroactive boost legacy tiers if we were to open up the system?
Yeah, it's one of the things that we were originally talking about, was how to control player potency as they level up if we were to do this at, say, 50 rather than 100. And that's part of the work that kind of made it not really feasible to do it out the gate. And so that's totally something that we've talked about.
Sweet. So there's a couple things here. It looks like the PvPers have jumped in.
Uh-oh.
So, any plans for buffing monster players in response to Freeps getting imbued weapons and new slotted gear without penalizing those without imbued legendary items too heavily?
Yes. So we're, we're definitely hoping that, with this build coming out tomorrow, you guys can get out there on the weekends and kind of get some Freeps versus Creep battle going and kind of give some feedback on how it feels. But we are very much monitoring that situation. Those type of changes would probably happen sometime next week. We just want, we could internally we can set up, like certain sets of legacies on specific specialization for classes and fight it out. But we find that there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of different choices, and it'd be better for us if we could get a bigger gambit of like what the pulse is, like what people are doing with different legacies and different setups and stuff. And so yeah, if you guys want to go out this weekend and kind of and write up some feedback, feel free to send it to me. Feel free to post it on the forums, however you want to do it.
So yeah, and I'll piggyback on that one. Is to Jinjaah's point. Get out there. We certainly appreciate everybody giving their feedback, just reading the initial system. But what really is going to help us, especially in the PvP side of things, is going out there, show us some comparable data. So show us some data. You can copy over your creeps and your freeps to Bull Roarer. So go out and fight in a normal situation on our live servers. Get your data. Go out and fight on Bull Roarer with some freeps who have their new legendary items, their imbued items, and give us some data comparisons. Like Jinjaah said, we can set up certain things and look at them, but nothing is as good as seeing our actual players giving us this data in their real life situations. So go do this. Give us the data. Post it up. There's little code tags you can use on the forums if you want to drop your fight logs in there and show us that, oh my God, look at this huge discrepancy, and I'm exactly the same on both. And get us that information. That's going to be for the PvPers. That's going to be the most helpful thing you can give us actual in-game comparisons.
Yep.
And we may even try to set up some kind of PvP night once we've got things more refined and closer to launching. We'll see about setting up something where we can drag you guys out and you can beat up on all of us devs, and we can take a look at some of the data ourselves.
Bloodborne can finally get that duel that he's been begging for.
I know. Every time I see him, that's all I hear. So as we're on the subject, we mentioned the PvMP revamp on the horizon. Any further word on the Osgiliath map? Terrain map, a plugin, has seen a separate Osgiliath map. Is this the Osgiliath map in process for PvMP? And you don't have to answer. You could just say, it's coming later.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. So guys, here's the thing with the PvMP map. It's not in update 16, so these guys are focused not on that right now. They are still focused on getting update 16 out and getting everything completed with that. It is a immensely daunting, huge, amazing amount of work for what for what Trevor and the other folks are doing to get this update out. So post 16 out the door, we'll start talking more about the new Osgiliath map.
Yeah, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Exactly. Jinja, so you are responsible for the imbuement system and legacy changes for all classes in the game. If
Mhm.
so, that's beast mode.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, he
I do like Skittles as well.
he's just here so he won't get fined.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I had to squeeze that one in. um, let's see. So we've already answered that one from Arathart, but even without upcoming PvMP update, can creeps get a healing and damage boost? We're looking at that. So we'll see about that. Again, we need that data from you guys. Um, let's see. Oh, look at Mugoth is doing some work.
Uh-oh.
I am concerned that some of the non-converted, non-imbued items can be swapped in during combat. This means that you can get the passive boost given for the change in legacy and the actual legacy just by swapping in a non-imbued. Is this something that we're going to address before the system goes live?
Yeah, I mean, part of changing some of the old legacies out or to when we made certain changes to classes was to kind of combat exactly that. It is something we're aware of, but we will continue to make changes as we go, and we'll see how far we can get. But we don't want to do anything where like we would restrict weapon swapping or anything like that. So yeah.
Yes. Let's see. When we still have some latecomers coming to the stream, so we'll hit this one yet again.
Hello.
So hi everyone who's still just joining us. When is Beta 2 build coming on Bull Roarer? That would be tomorrow. And the question to Jinja, when will we address the issue with the Inspired Greatness exploit, I guess we'll call it.
We're still continuing to work on it. I think Ransroth is helping someone right now. He could probably speak further to that, but he has been a relentless warrior on that front. Of there's I know that like it seems like there's only one issue, but there was not just one issue, and so he's been kind of attacking them as he can. So he's been doing work. He's the true beast mode of the team right now. So
Absolutely. So yes, we're working on it, but it was not a simple just flip a switch. As a matter of fact, I've seen these guys working on it for quite some time, trying to track it down.
yep.
Let's see. Does Jinja get paid per class? And if so, is he looking for an assistant to share in the commission? He will do a 70-30 split with you.
Little like dim sum setup. That'd be nice.
Yes.
A la carte assistant.
Yeah, I like it.
I'll bring it up with Athena.
Okay. Lotus, level 100 crafting recipes, please. This is something I know that they're also looking into, but I do believe this is not going to be a 16 thing.
Right, that's correct. But someone wrote up a really good post. I don't know if they're in this chat right now, about that on the Bull Roar forums, and I completely understand where they were coming from with, the crafting materials that were for Rohan showing up in Gondor and all that kind of stuff. That's something in the future that we're going to look at.
All right. Can we change as they are currently? I'm going to add this one in for Badalin. Can we change the legacies after imbuing the legendary item without Mithril coins? Will that be an option?
Can you change a legacy without
after you've imbued it? Will you be able to without having to get Mithril coins?
Yes. In fact, I don't think it's coming in this build, but there is an imbued legacy replacement scroll that will be coming. That will be hooked up to various loot tables or potentially given away throughout quest arcs. It was just that at the time that the first build went out, we hadn't fully completed it yet. So it is there, it is made, it is coming. It might not be in tomorrow's build. We're going to kind of see in this afternoon if we feel good about hooking it up. So we might not hook it up until the build next week. But yes, it is coming.
Sweet. Jinja, is the burglar's new purge corruption damaged legacy staying? It is kind of useless right now, and I never see it being used.
Yeah, there's a couple legacies that we created to kind of add some variety in. I would encourage you to make a feedback thread based on even if it's just about that legacy in the feedback forums, and leave it all there and let some other players comment on it too. But I agree, there's definitely some of the legacies that we made that players weren't exactly thrilled about. So we'll be looking at that.
All right. Beautiful. Scrolls of empowerment price reduction in the skirmish camp. Any prices are way too high. As we said, all the prices for all this stuff are subject to change as their usefulness increases, blah, blah, blah. It's beta. We are taking the feedback, and any prices, et cetera, and so forth, will be adjusted accordingly based on feedback and where the team as a whole decides to go in the direction of these things.
I saw a question that I just wanted to answer real quickly before I forgot.
Go for it.
About the Minstrel's Rally cooldown. That's a bug. It's been fixed. It'll be in your build tomorrow. Yeah. So don't worry about that one.
All right. I want to PvP without lag asks. Oh, I wonder what this question is.
Is that their name?
Yes. Can I show a video of massive lag raid versus raid in PvP? You can, but we all know it's there already. This is one of the reasons. As PvP is one of the reasons we're exploring a new area. Because the old area, you have instance boundaries, you have a whole bunch of factors that add into why, when you get big groups of people out there, that you see performance issues. So we want to address this by the new area. We have the server stuff coming up as well, where you'll be getting on new hardware and a new data center in a much better flowing location. Also, for those of you who are hopping over an entire ocean, et cetera, and so forth. So. These are all things we're addressing. We know that the PvMPers are seeing the lag. We're doing our best to fix it. It's going to take a little time. It's not something where we can just flip a switch and suddenly you guys are not seeing that stuff. This is a process, piece at a time, that will be being addressed. So, I know we've asked you to be patient, but just be a little bit more patient. This is all stuff that is in the plans and coming to hopefully help you guys. Let's see. Any thought about? Let's see. Any thought about giving some love to the skirmish camp? It's getting to be a big mess of confusing over there. Somebody watching this can see that and maybe clean that up. I don't think that's either of us.
Yeah.
So, see, look at this. Now somebody's saying I'm making their ears bleed. I'm either too loud or I'm too quiet. Can I have middle, please? Please?
Because they're definitely not talking about my audible chocolate.
What level range will the U16 instances be playable at?
They are scalable instances from 50 onward, I believe.
I believe that is correct.
Yes. I stared at Pinion, but he's just like... He's looking at me, but he's not not registering that I'm talking to him. So.
That's fine. Not related to legendary item systems, but what are your thoughts on fellowship maneuvers? Are they in a good place, or do they need some love?
They need love.
My thoughts as well.
Yeah.
On the list.
Yeah.
Let's see. Please fix the enfeeble trait for Ancient Master Lore Master line. It doesn't scale with the buff Force of Will in the trait set bonus, increasing the duration of debuffs, such as See All Ends and Sign of Power command. So, yeah, just go fix that, please.
Yeah, throw a J-bug in. And if it's there, then good on you for throwing a J-bug in. And we'll fix that up.
All right. Got another class-specific question. Guardian Light Damage Legacy is one of those useless ones, particularly given what it replaces. Are you aware of this one too?
I believe so. Yes. That's another one where I encourage you that make your own thread if you want, and place that kind of feedback in there, and we will take a look at it.
All right. Are you planning some kind of introduction special stream for U16? It says U6, I'm assuming 16. Yes, we are going to have, as a matter of fact, we have a couple of things in the pipeline. We will have a stream, and we've got a couple other things that will be coming out that will tell you everything you ever wanted to know about Update 16. So stay tuned.
Foreshadow.
Yes, stay tuned. And yes, so there's be more stuff coming. Um, let's see. Many legacies from many classes didn't fall under the category of legacies that couldn't be extended. I can list some here, like Soliloquy of Spirit, Pulses, Guardian's War Duration, Addle Induction Multiplier, Fight on Pulses, and yet they were replaced. Why did that happen, especially since they are all very good legacies?
So pulses did fall under that category, but we did do some stuff like, for example, with the Soliloquy of Spirit, we added 5 pulses to, I think it was 5 pulses to the base effect, and then replaced the new legacy. But that's certainly those kind of pieces of feedback is something that I've been going through over the last couple days, and we'll kind of talk about, did we work in enough? Was it do players want a little more? Would it be better served somewhere else? Should they passively be put onto the skills or effects in question, or should they appear in a trait tree? Those are kind of the things. That's why that sort of list of stuff won't be in the build tomorrow, because we've spent a couple days collecting all the feedback, and then we need to really find a good place for this stuff, and so that's what we're going to be working on going into the weekend and early next week.
All right. Let's see. Can the one-shotters bug in the moors be fixed with U16 by any chance?
Yeah, we're still looking at it. It seems like every day there's a new issue that causes it. We think we have a solution that one fix to rule them all, but I can't guarantee that it'll be fixed. But I have that bug is in front of me, and I'm looking at it.
Yes. Yay! In the new PVMP map, are you going to use the same type of buildings that's in the current map, or are you going to redo them since some of the buildings glitch? I'll answer that one TBD, since we haven't actually built it in terms of what PvP is yet. So you'll have to wait and see. Any updates on the player council, PVMC player council? The only update I can say is, holy crap, a ton of you applied. So I've been slowly digging through them, but it's not till the end of this month, early next month, that you're going to see the new council announced. So all I could say is keep applying if you haven't. If you have, thank you, and holy crap, there was a lot of you interested in both sides of the council, so that was awesome. Have we considered making official feedback threads for each class to try and consolidate all of our feedback? We will. Actually, I do want to do that. It was more of I wanted to wait till we were closer-ish to having more of the changes in, because right now there's some of the classes didn't get much of anything and some did. But I could certainly put those up early and let people just start debating on that. That's fairly easy for me to do. But yet the difficult thing there is making you all on the forums actually use them instead of starting your own thread, because you want the attention on your thread, not lost in the official ones. So I'm more than happy to do that for y'all, if you could actually stick to the threads. Not bitter about this, I swear. Let's see. Will that stream on U16 go on YouTube for those of us not able to make the actual stream? It'll be it'll be available on multiple forms of media, including YouTube, and it'll be highlighted on the Twitch page. So let's see. So that one ties into the specific feedback thread, so we don't need to that. Guardians were tanks. Nice name, the giant shield. Why does it seem like now they've been more made into DPS characters? Well, what was the thought process of them becoming more DPS oriented?
Are you talking about like back in U12 or?
I think we've seen. I think especially with the trait trees, I think is where we started seeing that change from, hey, if you're a guardian, you're pretty much a tank, to now you can go DPS on your guardian.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of classes, we wanted to open up multiple options, or try to enhance options that they had going for them. But I still think that a guardian that wants to tank is still one of the best tanks in the game. So.
All right. So yeah, I mean, it's all about choice.
Yep.
Let's see. Frelorn, are you aware of a bug in the moors where freeps were able to get into grams? Yes, we know. We know all. We see all these things. A lot of times we'll get fixed, and you guys won't even see it, and suddenly they won't be able to do it anymore. But we are aware. We see these things. You guys have been great about sending me videos and screenshots, etc., of things like that that allow us to jump on them and address them pretty quickly, as long as they're not, super technical, impossible to fix. Are there any changes to the Mac client to help it with stability and fix crashing issues, high memory usage? Honestly, our teams are constantly working on improving all the clients. So if there's something specific that you can give us data on, or you may have already done that already and I just haven't seen it because I don't look through the bug queue as often as these guys do. But if there is something specific, make sure you're putting a bug in on it, and our engineers will jump on it when they can. Let's see. LOTRO stream, why has none of my questions been answered? I don't know. I'm not skipping you on purpose. Are you aware of a bug in the Moors or free? Yes, we already saw that one. Holy crap, I'm down to the bottom.
Oh, we did it.
Will there be a character base wipe in beta 2? Maybe. That will be up to the QA team.
Yeah, I think it also depends on which changes we're really going to push to this build, and that will kind of decide what we do with that sort of stuff. But that's up to them. So.
All right. Yeah, and that actually brings us. We're actually a little bit past 2 o'clock now. So now that I've rolled down there and seen all of those, we can kind of let's see what. Yeah, I think we're. Oh, hold on. My things all being right. Okay, so yeah, we're past 2, and Jinjaah here has to get back to working, and making your stuff better, or as I like to say, more gooder.
More gooder.
More gooder. So if we didn't get to your question, I'm sorry. We will get it. Make sure you post it on the forums. We'll do our best to answer them. I will put up some straight feedback for the classes in the Bull Roarer section, so that you guys can focus your feedback more. And then, of course, when we can also direct the legendary item feedback to its own thread, so we can keep that there, so it's also easier to sort. So thank you guys. For coming and checking out this stream. We will be doing more, and I will highlight this on Twitch so that you guys can listen back to it and hear all of his answers again and again. And so yeah, stay tuned. There's another buildable roar coming tomorrow, and there'll be subsequent builds, so it will see. So hopefully,
Hearts.
Yes, there's so many
hearts.
so many hearts and emojis on there right now. So yeah, stay tuned. Again, to sum this up, guys, the reason that we did this beta so early, the reason that we're still weeks away from update 16 going live, is so we could get your feedback. We've been saying this for a while now. The responsibility is ours to show you guys that we mean what we say when we are taking the feedback into account. That doesn't mean we're going to take all of it into account. There are visions that we have of how things are going to be, or how we'd like things to be, but we're not locked into anything here. We're not set in stone. We are taking the feedback in. We are putting it into new builds. We will see that, and hopefully you guys will go, holy crap! That's what they said what they meant. And they meant what they said. So again, thank you all for coming by. I'll get those threads up in the forums as soon as I can after I get out of the next 8 meetings I have. And yes, keep the questions coming. PvPers, jump in and make sure you're testing. Give us some numbers. Show us the differences. Show us, things like that. That will help us tremendously. And yes, for everybody else, make sure, of course, you're following us on Twitter and Facebook and here on Twitch, to make sure you're getting all the news and updates and all the other cool stuff that I don't just post in the forums. So you can watch all the spam that I'm putting all over social media. And yeah, everybody have a great day. And we will talk to you all again really, really soon.
Thanks, guys and gals.